Hello, my lovely plant-based community. Today I wanted to give you some advice on how to transition into eating this way in your relationships. As most of you know, I am the only plant-based eater in my household and among my family and my friends. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about my experience about what not to do and what to do to have success as you transition to eating this way, um, in a way that helps you stay true to what you're trying to do, but also keep your relationships intact. So, here are some of the things that I did wrong when I first started out that I want you to avoid. So, when I first began eating plant based, and I learned all the ways that eating this way helps me, and then all the ways that not eating this way harms me and my family, I kind of freaked out and I forced everyone in my household to eat this way. I was extremely strict, no oil, no processed anything, everything super fresh. And we went from eating, we were eating fruits and vegetables with our meals, but we were eating a very typical standard American diet. And I have older children and a husband who really loved eating their meat, and it did not go over well at all. There was so much contention in my home. It just didn't go over well. Then I would try lecturing everybody on how this was so much better and was going to change our lives and how they were doing it wrong. And at like family get-togethers, I just felt like I always needed to defend myself. And I found that people really feel strongly about the way that they eat. They feel the way that they eat. It's like around Thanksgiving, you avoid topics of religion, you avoid topics of politics. If you're getting together for Thanksgiving, that is not the time to be lecturing people on how the way they're eating is killing them. You are going to totally ruin everything. You're going to ruin your relationships with your family and friends, and you're going to ruin the meal. It's not the time. Also, I would have, friends, or not usually family members, but usually friends who just really wanted to debate me about why keto was so much better, or why eating paleo was so much better, or how we needed to be on this supplement instead. And again, people are very passionate about the way that they eat. And getting in a debate with someone who fundamentally thinks so differently from you and has not done any of the research that you've done to learn to eat this way, you're not going to get anywhere in those conversations. So avoid all of these things. It's just not going to help you, and it's not going to help them, and it's not going to make any real change. All it's going to bring is frustration. So here are some things that I did do after I learned with my own small family on that previous slide, the things that weren't working. I needed to change my approach. I have a neighbor whose daughter has severe allergies, and I've seen how her daughter's life has been impacted in ways that just involve food. Like she can't go to birthday parties if there's going to be food that she's allergic to. She can't do so many activities because when she was younger, the risk, she would go into severe anaphylactic shock, and it wasn't worth the risk to her life. And so her mom always just coined this phrase, people before food. Because if people were willing to just make little changes to the way they prepared the meal so that her daughter could be included, it just changed everything for her daughter's life. And that's kind of the mantra I've taken with me in this plant-based eating approach. How other people eat is up to them. It's not my job to judge them. It's not my job to lecture them. It's my job to be a good friend and to be a good neighbor and to be a good family member. People before food. But that being said, we still can have a really powerful influence on those around us by following some of these simple tactics, I guess. So number one, even though you shouldn't be lecturing people, you can be an example of how you're eating. When you get together for family gatherings, like my family knows, I do not expect them to cook special foods for me. I have a very loving and supportive family. Both sides of my extended family are wonderful people. And so they would be like, what can we make for you? Or how can we change the menu so that you can enjoy it? And I didn't want to make 30 people have to totally change the way they ate to accommodate me. And so I just made sure that I just said, I just want to come to be with all of you and enjoy your company, I will bring my own meal. I'll have everything ready to go. And then I usually will bring things that I can share, things that I think taste really yummy. They're usually not the really strict whole food plant-based lifestyle that I'm actually eating. They would probably be freaked out. They would think that was so extreme. So I usually try and bring some kind of vegan treat that tastes really yummy, that they can't even tell the difference between it and an animal-based product, just to kind of open their eyes that there really are options out there that they can enjoy that don't include animal products, and then just really yummy fresh foods that they think would be tasty, and I just take those and I share them, and they like it. Also, when people start to tease me about eating this way, and it still happens all the time, instead of having some little sassy comeback and starting some rude little debate, I just smile and I just let it go and don't even engage. And I just let them know that my relationship with them in all other ways is more important than me feeling like I'm right or better than everybody. That's just not what I am about. I just want to, and that can be hard for me. But the more I've practiced that, the more I found that respect is going in all directions towards me and from me, and it's been really good. And then when you do have family members who genuinely ask, because eating this way, when they see how healthy you are and that you can talk, everybody at family things talks about different struggles they're going through. I have family members who have, weight issues or heart problems, COPD, kidney problems. And when they ask, hey, have you learned anything about what could help me with this? Educate them, and do it in just a loving, patient way, and just say, if you want to learn more, I'd be happy to research that for you and tell you what I found, or I'd be happy to look up some foods that maybe you could include to help fight or prevent these symptoms and diseases that you're having. I have found that taking that approach after all this time of eating this way, a lot of family members are including way more fruits and vegetables in their diet. Many of them have switched over to plant-based eating, and it's just been their own personal thing, and they'll send me a text and be like, I developed this plant-based recipe, and I had no idea that they were eating that way. And then they get really excited and want to talk to everybody about it. And I can be their support and be very enthusiastic and give them more information as they're trying to eat that way. So you'll find that quietly going about doing what you're doing and just sharing and being kind, and just not getting into lectures and debates is the best way. My older kids and my husband, they're a lot more open and willing to try new things now. They're very supportive of me and my desires to at least include lots of fruits and vegetables in every meal that we're eating. I just feel like they're eating so much healthier than they were. And sometimes my husband will go through phases where he's like, okay, I'm going to try it. And maybe it doesn't stick yet, but maybe eventually it will. My younger kids really enjoy eating this way, and they very rarely have any kind of meat. They do have dairy sometimes, like they'll put cheese on things sometimes, but most of what they're eating is plant-based. And it's not because I'm forcing them to, it's because that's what they think tastes good and makes them feel good. And so it's been fun to see them learn to understand this on their own. And as they ask questions, I try to keep things very respectful and at their appropriate age level, and just help to teach them about why it's important to take care of our bodies and why what we eat matters. And one of my favorite things to do is when we are eating something like blueberries or strawberries or asparagus or broccoli, I'll just talk about how awesome it is. This food is so amazing. These are the things it does for our body. Isn't it great that it helps to protect us? This food will give us so much energy and helps prevent cancer. And this food, I'm always going just to my kids on and on about that stuff. So remember, in this process, even as you are adopting this lifestyle, there's going to be times that you fall off the wagon too, and you can get right back on. Time is our friend. As we continue eating this way and we continue to be an example to those around us, It just helps to normalize this way of eating and helps people to see that it really is a good, beneficial, healthy, wonderful way to eat that protects our bodies and protects our world. And it's just a wonderful way to live that feels good. And so just keep being yourself and keep being a good example. And you'll see over time as you just patiently and kindly work towards helping people learn more about this way of living, you'll see a lot of people will start to follow suit, and it will be a really, really fun thing to see.